As South Africa prepares to host the upcoming G20 and B20 conferences, the business community stands to play a vital role in driving economic growth across Africa. In alignment to B20 strategic pillars of growth and prosperity through global cooperation and energy and sustainability through responsible business practices, today's episode explores how corporates, including SanlamAllianz, can contribute to these goals. We'll unpack actionable strategies, highlight opportunities for collaboration, and examine how businesses can lead with purpose in shaping Africa's economic future. Joining me for this conversation is Gafar Hassam, Executive of Corporate Affairs at SanlamAllianz. Gafar, thank you so much for joining us. I think G20 is such an incredible opportunity for us, and B20 even more so. So what has it meant for you and made you jump into being a leader in one of the streams?
Well, thank you. It is quite an exciting opportunity. But before I jump into that, just a little bit about ourselves, and then it will link in with why we saw the opportunity to be involved with B20 and G20. So SanlamAllianz is a joint venture between Sanlam, which is the oldest insurance group in Africa, more than 100 years of operating, and Allianz, which is one of the leading insurance groups in the world. The two of them saw the opportunity to collaborate and to work together on the rest of Africa. And we operate in 26 African countries, and we have been on the continent for more than 30 years. So as somebody said, others might call it Africa, we call it home. And when this opportunity came to be part as a lead sponsor for the B20, we couldn't think otherwise. It's just a perfect fit for our linking with our mission.
And I think let's unpack that mission, right? Because there are many things that we can do to find a lane of making a difference. So what are the lanes of making a difference that bring you together?
Exactly. So being in the financial services, our mission and objective is we want to empower generations to be financially confident. It's not about just making profits, but sustaining it through generations, that financial prosperity should be extended to all our African clients. Now, with the G20, where do we see G20, B20? Where do we see those opportunities? It's really opportunity at a policy level. So the B20, the main focus has been influencing policy, and that is where we believe that's the best starting point, together with all other opportunities that are already initiatives that are already in existence on the continent.
And I think B20 is going to come up with some very interesting recommendations and very interesting thoughts around how we do this sustainably over the long term. In your mind and the experience you have across the continent, what are the markers we're going to be looking out for that we need to focus on going forward?
Yes, we such a privileged continent, because if you look at our population, we've got young population, very energetic population. We're a very fortunate continent. If you look at the minerals that we have across the continent, a very, very rich continent. What is really required is how do you bring all these potentials together, and what is that catalyst? So through this B20 and the policy setting, the big issue for us is collaboration. That private-public partnership between us in the private and government, and also amongst us as private players. So how do we collaborate so that the things that we are doing together bring and really unlock that potential that we see on the continent.
And we speak of collaboration, and I'm glad that we say it so much more, because it's replacing perhaps a sense of competitiveness or of protectionism between public and private sector, and it's saying that we can work together. But we also bring very unique lessons to the table that need to come together. What are the lessons that in the years of you doing these partnerships, you continue to share with those who are listening to you?
Yeah, well, in any partnership, what is very important is trust, so that the people, whichever parties, whether it's government, private sector, but the basis of that collaboration is trust and having a common goal. And it is no doubt that there is a common goal that we want to see our continent prosper and grow much faster than the other continents. As I said, we already have the dividend to make us a very successful continent. So the trust element is very, very key. Having a common understanding. So with really this B20, it brought together people from the government sector, from the private sector, from different industries, where we can focus on one common goal and then approach it. Yes, you have the unique competitive advantages that everybody wants to keep, but at the end of the day, if we are all aligned that we want to see our continent prosper financially, that is a good foundation for that collaboration.
I found something interesting when I was doing my reading about Sanlam Alliance, and that is when you start talking about the value chain. Right. In all the changes we're making and the things we're thinking about, the complexity of a tightly knitted value chain requires focused effort. So how do you start to influence and help people to look down the chain?
That's right. When you talk of the value chains, one, you have to realize and understand that Africa is not one country. It's not one culture. It's very, very unique cultures from across, and which is what makes us very exciting continent to operate on. So when it comes to the various value chains, be it from a distribution point of view, the infrastructure point of view, the need might be the same, but how it's executed on the ground, it is very, very different, which is why we're saying even at the policy level, we need to realize the differences in cultures and how just living is done from one country to the other. It's very, very unique. And taking cognizance of those cultural nuances is very important. Having been operating on the continent, as I said, more than 30 years and in 26 countries, we don't have one model that suits every country. We realize the uniqueness of each country. And in fact, talking on the partnership model, we also say when it comes to us doing business in a country, we want to have local shareholders. We want to have local people that are driving the board, local people that are driving the company. Because in that way, that's the only way that you can understand how business is done on the ground.
And people take that for granted. One, they take for granted that we don't have just three important countries within the continent, that there's so many available to operate within. But I'd like to talk a little bit more about what you talk about, is that you can't take a South African solution and go put it in Ghana. And as many companies have tried to do that, even new tech companies are going in, we're not really understanding the nuances of localization. How have you managed to do that? How have you managed to, so you put local people in, and what about the business model? Is there when B20 thinks, they need to think so much broader than just one solution that fits all?
That's right. So our model is there are certain things which are non-negotiable. For example, ethics. The ethics will be the same irrespective of which country you're operating in. So that is non-negotiable. But when it comes to offering solutions to our customers and our clients, that is where the uniqueness comes in, and that's how we differentiate ourselves from competitors. Yes, we have been very successful in South Africa. Yes, we have been very successful in Germany and across the world. But what has worked there doesn't mean that will work in our respective African countries. But it provides a basis for learning. So we expose our teams to say, these are the trends that are happening globally. At the moment, AI is such a significant buzzword and the trend, it's very exciting. But the AI that is working in one country will not work in another. But we give our people an opportunity to go and learn, and then to say, right, now based on your local conditions and how culturally things are done, how are you going to adapt and make that a success? And so we have seen great successes by following that approach. And sometimes it has come to say, look, we don't even have to use our own brand. We have to use a brand that is acceptable in that particular market because there is local pride that is associated with it. And you have to accept that for us to be collectively successful.
And I don't want to miss the opportunity of talking about some of the work that you do to make a difference in people's lives. Which one of them are you most proud of which are some of the initiatives that, whether it be in education or for women, are you most proud of?
It's quite a number that we are proud, but I'll pick on two. The first one is really on education, because we offer solutions and enable families that ordinarily would not have afforded to send their kids for a decent education. Through the solutions that we provide, we are so proud to be associated with the success that we have seen over the years, where a family, when you see the, I wouldn't say the kid, because now they're growing, when they are graduating, the smiles, just not only on the family, but the village, they celebrate. I'll give you a recent example. I've supported a family in Kenya from the village of a young, brilliant young boy that through our education support really qualified with wonderful grades. And we are going to support him throughout his university years, fully funded. Those are the stories that we make a difference. In the others, many stories, is the day-to-day living through the solutions that we offer, either covering vehicles or covering businesses. The vehicles are not just a luxury in our markets. The vehicles are a tool for the business. When a vehicle is involved in an accident, that means that the business comes to a halt. And through our solutions, we are able to put back the person back in business very, very quickly. And when a breadwinner passes on, we are there to support the family. Yes, it's a difficult time as they are grieving, but we make that grieving much easier, that they give their loved one a decent burial. But beyond that, that the income continues, the children are still supported and finish the education.
And I'm glad that we touched on all of them, because I think that those are the nuances that business brings to the table, to not only talk about how we operate as a company, but also how we show up in communities and in people's lives. So thank you so much for your time. I can't believe it's gone that quickly.
Thank you very much.
And when we think about B20, we sometimes don't get to be in the room, but on Focus On, we've brought the conversation to you that shows you how B20 starts to shape the thinking that then influences the policies that need to be implemented across the continent. But it does bring us to the end of today's episode. Please stay tuned. We will continue the B20 journey, unpacking sectors that shape key objectives, explore businesses, and force inclusive growth and sustainable impact. From me, Zanella Morrison, and the rest of the CNBC team that supports us, it's goodbye for now.